We're back. We're so back. Well, welcome back into another edition of the Ryan Ripken Show. Happy Monday. I know it is a very different outlook here. I know people have been asking the question, Zach, where has Ryan gone? Is he ever coming back? The answer is no. Just kidding. Coming back here soon, but we got a big kind of guest coming on, right? So for people that wanted to know, I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off here. I've been away on a trip. It was scheduled with my family. Happy birthday, Kelly Llama, big supporter of the show. This was planned, I don't know, 3 years in advance. So I apologize. But today, special guest Connor Norby is joining us. Baltimore Orioles made his debut this past week in Toronto. Going to join the show. So I had to get back on here, and we will get to more regular programming. I'll explain what else we got going on. But Zach, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yeah, you sound perfect, Rip. You sound perfect. Is that way better than Rocco sounds?
Yeah, can I see the rest of the group in there? I feel like I haven't seen the guys in so long.
I know. We got to my right. Let's see if I do this right. We got Kevin. What a stare. We got Kevin. Great to see you too, Kevin. And then, of course, Rocco.
Kevin's miserable, and he needs one of these. Shout out to Joe for once. The Red Bulls coming through. They're fantastic, so really appreciate that. Otherwise, you can just go do your thing.
Okay, good to see you too, Rocco.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so glad everyone's doing well so far. It looks like that Mike is overbearing to Kevin. That's nothing new. Kevin, you haven't gotten taller since I last saw you.
Kevin, it looks like it's your nose.
My nose.
You can like adjust it.
Rocking
down.
The Squidward right now.
Yeah, maybe
Sorry, I'm becoming awake to the world.
Kevin, I literally texted us as we were on our way to the studio and was like, I'm alive. Why is this so early?
Oh, I was not on my way to the studio. That was
no. I said, well, I was.
Oh, I'm like, that was 30 seconds after I woke up.
Some things haven't changed. Some things haven't changed, but things that are going to be changing. This is a good time to talk about it. When I do get back, which is this week, we'll be coming back tomorrow. We're going to get really back on track here. Going to rebrand a little bit because I've had people ask too about, well, hey, like the post-game shows, Rip, where are you? This was something for the post-game shows that we have on the Ryan Ripken Media channel that Zach and Kevin are going to continue to do. It is a part of the Ryan Ripken Show entity, but just so people don't get confused with the show component that we have on a regular basis, which we're going to talk more into specific topics. Like today, Zach, I know you have a lot of things that you were going to get into. I'm only obviously going to be here mainly for the interview component, but we're going to talk about obviously Connor Norby, the Orioles off to this June start. The Orioles have 3 aces, which we've been saying for a while. You have the factor crap diving in more into the AL East, if I'm not mistaken, and a couple other different conversations around the Maryland region, or that people have entertainment with, people are interested or could be entertained with, especially the English Premier League is coming to Annapolis, which, Zach, I will let you explain that to everyone later on. It's at the end of July, but we have a lot of ideas going on there, so I cannot wait to really – I don't know, guys. We got so much planned, and I'm not going to say my batteries are recharged, but I'm ecstatic to get back, get buzzing with the guys, and really get rolling. And for those that are wondering over here, we're actually 7 hours ahead, so it's almost dinner time here. And actually, I got to see Rocco's beautiful face last night at, I think, 12:30 a.m.
Yeah, did you guys did Rip and Rock do another? Solo.
It was a Rip and Rock. The podcast was actually solo, and Ryan did that on his own because of some logistical, not issues, but it just made sense for him to do that. But he's on vacation, so shout out to him for just grinding. But we did our Sports Unlimited segment, and it was what time? 5 o'clock our time, and then I think for Rip it was midnight. Yeah. So this guy doesn't sleep. I don't know how he's lasting on vacation the way he is, but shout out to you, Rip, for being a good kid. Thank you.
I appreciate it. You know what? I can't wait you guys to see the base tan that I have created while I've been on the road. But it doesn't mean that I haven't been watching what you guys have been up to and this team specifically. So before we have our guests join us here, I know I've seen a lot of comments. Why don't we just talk a little bit about this June here for a second?
Yeah.
Because the Orioles off to a fantastic start to this month, in my opinion. You go on the road as much as they have really, guys, it's been 3 straight divisional opponents, 2 of which have been the Tampa Bay Rays. But the Orioles, you win the series in Baltimore against Tampa going into the month. You split up in Toronto, and now you've already taken 3 at Tampa Bay. And it really feels like this team has kind of done it in different ways again. The offense has come alive. A guy named Anthony Santander, which I'm glad they didn't, get rid of the guy after the first month or two. 5 jacks in 9 games. Guys, it's a really well-rounded team. And you guys have heard this, and for everyone listening here right now, this month of June is going to tell you a lot about the squad. And that's why I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to get over antsy. You're going to start worrying, because wasn't it, guys, maybe like a week ago, or I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago, the panic that set in with the Cardinals series?
You mean when the season was over?
Yes.
The season was over. It was over. They stopped playing games.
Yep. So right then and there. So to put that in context here, the Orioles bounce back. And what did I say so far? Let things evolve, because injuries are going to happen. The news with John Means and Tyler Wells, let that marinate. Let your guys go out there and play, see what's going on. And through all of this, the Orioles, I believe, are the 3rd best team in all of baseball. Only the Phillies and the Yankees are better than them.
Yes.
And so you're talking about being in a great spot. They're in a great spot.
Oh, yeah, Guardians. So forth.
Yeah.
But they're I just,
Did the Guardians win last night?
Yes, they did. They're on a two game winning streak right now. O's and Guardians are both 2.5 games back, so they're technically, I guess, in a tie for
the 3rd best record in all of baseball.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, but we don't want to leave another team out, Rip. That's all I'm saying. I wasn't trying to correct you. I'm not trying to be that like, Yeah, exactly.
But so the context of this, and I see people talking about, apparently I only do vibes. I don't talk about the game enough, but it's a good time to remind people, when we go through our breakdowns of what's happened, what's transpired, we've talked about these points for a while. And in July, I promise we will talk about it more. And also, if you guys want to hear more, we're figuring out the subscribers. And Kevin, do you mind just explaining to everyone? Because we did our first live stream from Greece. How we doing? And then you actually sent the ice cream milkshake to everybody, to the public. But we are going to put more and more stuff up for our members to see.
Yeah, I was actually not the first one to do that. Zach put something out to the community too a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, accidentally.
Your foot long or 20-inch sub or whatever.
Yeah, and it was damn good.
Yeah, put that out to everybody. But yes, the memberships are a thing we've been doing now for almost 2 months, which, by the way, if you are a 2-month member, you're coming up on that. The emoji that you have, your channel badge, will change from Ollie to someone else. So just little preview there, but it's just another way to support the show, support the channel. We have 2 different subscription tiers. The Holy Shirts and Pants obviously is the bigger one, and then you have Rip's Good Kids is the smaller one. You get those exclusive emotes you can spam in the chat all over the place. We're still working on the Banksy one. I know that's been a very popular demand. But we also were going to get our member live streams going. Ryan mentioned it was Ryan and Brad, then I popped on for the end and just talking. And actually, after an Orioles loss, Zach, when was it, last week, after that one of those Toronto losses, we wanted to get the vibes back.
Yeah.
So we ended up talking baseball for, did the analysis for 40, 45 minutes. Then we did another 40, 45 of just ask us anything, baseball, football, life. And that's kind of what those member streams are going to be. So it's really exciting, and so you can support the channel. Hit that join button next to subscribe. So there you go.
I didn't understand anything you just said, Kevin. I was just looking at the great head of hair you have. So thank you.
I need to get a haircut. It's getting a little fluffy.
Fantastic,
it's getting a little fluffy.
You got the bedhead today?
Yeah.
I don't know if I should turn. Is it?
No, you're
yeah.
Good.
Well, real fast before we move on, Rip, didn't we talk about, especially when everyone talked about the gauntlet of June? We were like, if the Orioles sit 500 or better, that they're going to be in a great spot. And that was kind of the consensus for a lot of people was, hey, it's going to be a tough stretch. You want to finish 500 and you're in a great spot. 6-3 so far through 9 games. So definitely an awesome spot to find yourself in.
Yeah, I mean, the last part I'll touch with it, it's, when you're a competitor, and there's a lot of competitors on there, again, some of those are my former teammates, so I can speak personally on them, but knowing the culture, talking to a lot of the guys, like, yeah, I mean, you relish the moments, like this is not only your job, but at the same time, oh, everyone's telling you that these teams are tough. You're going to be tired. You're exhausted. Nah, you want to go out there and play. Now, when things aren't going well, you might sometimes are looking for a way to try to reset, but it's a really fun time. And I think that that's being embraced with the squad. And quite frankly, they're already up to the task. They've been up to the task. The goal is to continue to go. All you want, before we get into with our guest, all you ask as a baseball fan, as a team, for anything, is, are you in the hunt? Can you check the boxes? The boxes being, are you right there where you need to be? Yes. Are you able to put yourself to have all of your objectives still in the, I guess, the front view mirror because you're chasing it? Yes. What else could you ask for right now besides that the Orioles are playing good baseball? They're having fun. It's an exciting team, one of the best teams. And by the way, every goal that you had going into 2024 is still there. That's what I'm looking at. And right now, they check every single box. So I'm excited for them. I'm also excited for our guest that's about to come on because I know you guys know this. I said the one thing I that always will touch at me is that I never got a chance to get up to the bigs, right? And so the moments are special. They're amazing. You know how damn hard it is to get up there and then being able to make an impact. So the guests we're having come on now, which I guess people can understand, recently got to live out that dream, but he's got bigger plans and aspirations to help this squad and to continue on with his major league career. So I think without a further ado, if you've been watching Orioles baseball and following the team, I think he doesn't need an introduction, but Orioles infielder Connor Norby. Can we bring him on screen?
Let's bring him on.
Connor, how we doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Welcome to the show. Sorry, we're all in different places right now. Ever been to Greece?
I have not. No.
Well, you should. It's a great time this summer. I'm on a vacation. That's why I'm over here. It's actually a family affair. My mom's birthday. She planned it for 3 years. And family means everything. And actually, it kind of leads me into this. You have a pretty interesting family story, if I'm not mistaken, at least for your call up. So you just heard me talk about the exciting moment. I know your brother at ECU, go Pirates, by the way. But talk a little bit about that, because that to me is a very unique way to tell your family, tell your brother that you're going to the show.
So, I mean, they were hosting the regionals, and my whole family was there with him, and we were finishing up our series against Gwinnett. And I mean, I had the whole clubhouse watching every game all weekend. So then Sunday night, he was pitching, and I remember I was sitting in my apartment just watching him and watching him do his thing. And he pitched well, and it was 5 minutes after he left the field, he got like a standing ovation from the crowd when he left. And then not even like 5 minutes after, I'm getting a call from Eve saying, "Hey, we need you in Toronto tomorrow." And I'm like, I didn't really know what to say. I started shaking a little bit, and then I got off the phone and I called my dad and my mom, and I'm just like, they're in the middle of the stands in Clark LeClaire Stadium, and I'm like, "Hey, I know this isn't ideal, but I'm going to Toronto tomorrow." And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "But don't say anything to anyone," and which is pretty hard when you're surrounded around 6,000 plus people. And but yeah, it was crazy. That whole night, not a lot of sleep went on after.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's funny. The last, I guess, because for me, I was with Norfolk in 21, and the moments, like those are the ones that you really kind of remember exactly. So I had a couple of my teammates make their debut, or knew that they got the call there. A little bit different for you when your brother's trying to also live out a significant part of his life right now. Your family's excited for both, but yeah, how do you keep that to yourself? But you talk to the coach, and then the coach, you're able to talk to your brother. Is that correct though with the story? You're able to talk to him on the phone? I'm
still really close with Cliff at ECU and all the coaches there. Most of them were there when I was there. And so, yeah, after the game was over and they had their whole press conference and everything, I was on the phone with my dad, and he kind of gave his phone to Cliff. And I told Cliff, and that ironically, Ethan was just walking by his office, and he's like, come here and tell him what you just told me. And I told him, and I don't think it registered with him right then, because he called me back later, and he was like, what'd you say? And I was like, I told him, and he went crazy. And but I was like, hey, you need to go win a championship tomorrow, and then we can worry about everything else. But yeah, it was a really cool moment for everybody.
Hell yeah, man. I love hearing it. Again, I guess I'm Zach. One of Zach's favorite phrases here, Connor, is like, how can you not be romantic about baseball?
How can you not?
Okay. Well, obviously, but like it's little things like that because of all the work you put in, where you got to, where you started, and then also everyone that's been along that journey. It's never just you doing it. It's the people that have been there with you. It's just an amazing moment. Okay, so walk me through this then, because I'm seeing beat reporters, write sources. Norby's here with Vespi. Shout out Nick Vespi, by the way. Great guy, great kid, great hair. But first moment for you when you stepped on the field in Toronto, but before you actually got into the game, because Zach's got a question about the actual game experience, but is it still feel like a surreal moment? And also, you hadn't been outside of the U.S. prior to that. Was that correct? So how was Toronto? Everything you thought it'd be and more?
Everything that has happened so far is more than I thought it would be. So I got to the clubhouse. Me and Vespi got to the clubhouse right after we landed in Toronto. And that was when they handed me the lineup card for the first time. And he's like, here you go. And he's like, I thought you might want to see this. And I was starting that night. And so that was obviously crazy moment. And then I remember just setting my stuff down, and I was like, I want to go see the field. And so I walked out, and everything just, you come through the back of the dugout, and everything just opens up, and you're just like, wow, like this place is sweet. And the more I looked at it, the more I even was in awe of it. And everyone kept saying, like, this is a great place to play, and let alone debut. And I know Rutsch was like, a lot of people have their first here. So let's get that one. He had his first homer, I think, there, and Stowie had his first hit. But I mean, that stadium, that city is incredible. And yeah, it was just a great 4 days there.
Yeah, I'd say it was. And actually, leading to Zach, you can ask this question here in a second. The Birds have liked going to Toronto. Yeah, Dean Kramer. So Dean was my teammate. Known Dino for a while now, but he's like, yeah, just love going up there. Just good things feel like it happens for the Birds overall, and for the players having great moments. And Zach, I think that kind of leads into that first great moment.
Yeah, Connor, thanks for joining the show. You've had a lot of obviously plate appearances at bats throughout the minors, and you've hit a lot of home runs in the minors. But at what point was it off the bat? Was it while rounding the bases? Did it kind of hit you that I just hit a home run in the major leagues? Like, what was that feeling like?
I knew I hit it pretty well at a good angle. I didn't really look. You can see me kind of look, but I really was I was elsewhere in my head, and I kind of blacked out. But I think when I got to third base and I saw Manzo, and I was like, wow, that really happened. And everyone has this idea in their head of what it's going to be like, what their first one's going to be. And I was like, I'll take a broken bat single 5 feet over Vladdy's head at this point. And I really, going into the game, I really wasn't concerned about getting the first one out of the way, which I know is a big deal. I just wanted to put up better at bats than I did the night before, and just feel comfortable in the box and feel my legs in. And I felt like from the first pitch on of that day, I was locked in, and I felt really good in the box, and I felt better every day since. But yeah, you come in after hitting the homer, and you get to do the whatever we do, the
hydration station.
Hydration state. There you go. We do that. And
how good did that water taste?
That was the best water I've ever had in my life.
And I'm so cool. Glad you stayed hydrated. I mean, hey, look, it's people helping people, man. You guys are working your butts off out there. You got to get some water. Rock, I mean, can you elaborate a little bit more on this? Because there's a backstory. I think that at least Rocco's our real researcher here, and there's more to it, at least with the greetings, Rock.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Zach for kind of keeping tabs with this too. But number one, Connor, your video that you hit the home run on the Orioles, I guess, Twitter or X account or whatever you want to call it, it's up to like 600,000 views now almost. I want to ask, how many of those views are from you? How many times have you actually watched that video over and over and over and just tried to replay that moment in your head? And number two, the moment when you crossed home plate and got that hug from Cowser, he was the first one to come up and greet you and give you the big hug. And that's been kind of an ongoing trend. I think it started, Zach, you said, with Manny Machado,
it starts
Trey
all the way
Mancini.
back with Manny.
Yeah, it dates back pretty much a while. So that's a pretty cool moment. I don't know if you knew the backstory to that, but Cowser greeting you at home plate has a pretty cool story to it too, because when he hit the home run, he got greeted by someone. When they hit a home run, they got greeted by. It was always like, it always goes back to that one player. It seems like it falls in line.
Did we lose Connor for a sec?
Oh
no.
He did say he blacked out when he talking about the moment. So
maybe this is just a visual representation of what went down.
We're all feeling what Connor felt now.
It's all right. Nobody wants to talk to me. I understand.
Well, that's also
kind of. He said it, not us.
Yeah. So we'll have him get back into that. But one thing I wanted to touch on when he gets right here, you know what? He's back. He's back in here. Good. Connor, you weren't. It's okay. You did say you blacked out when you hit it.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it makes perfect sense. But what part did you cut out with Rocco talking? Because we zone him out all the time. Did you hear his question at all?
I lost him at how many times have I seen the video?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. How many times have you watched that video over and over again? And then what was the moment like when Cowser greeted you at home plate? Because that's kind of dated back. One player greeting another when they hit their first home run. And it's been a pretty cool trend within Birdland as well.
I mean, I've probably seen the video 100 times at this point. So at least it was the announcing on it. I've seen every angle of the video. I've seen every announced video of it. So it's in the memory books. It's probably at the top for sure. But with Cowser, I mean, I got drafted with him. He was the first guy I met when we got drafted together. We've been through every level together. I feel like I've always been there right with him. And I mean, he was the happiest person when it happened for me. And I'm glad that he was on base and that I got to share that moment with him. And I think he feels the same way because like I said, we've been through every step together, every level. We've talked about like that moment for 2+ years now since we've been drafted. I mean, yeah, somebody told me that after the game. They're like, do you realize that was Cowser on base and like the significance behind it? And that's when it really kind of set in. I was like, oh wow, like that's pretty freaking cool.
How can you not be romantic about baseball? Come on, people.
There you go. Because you guys, it was you, Cowser, and Mayo got called up to Bowie together. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I remember that day when that happened. It was pretty cool.
Yep, it was me, Kobe, Cowser, and like Kobe's pretty much been right there with us. He's had a couple of instances where he's been on the IL, but he's been right there with us as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great group, and this is where this is also, and it's, when I try to give people more of the context of the game, one, I have to remind people baseball is really damn hard, and that to be successful, you got to get drafted. And then to be more successful, to get up to the next levels, you have to keep being successful. And then you get to the majors, and then you're going to have to prove yourself day in and day out. Right. And also, I think there's a narrative, Connor, with it that people go, well, it's super competitive. The guys like each other. It's a business. Yeah, it is a business. And of course you want to be there in Baltimore. Like, who doesn't want to be in the big leagues? I think that, but people forget is it fair to say, and I know the answer, but I'm going to say this out loud so people can hear what you say. It's a brotherhood that you're developing. It's a business, but Like these friendships are deep, right? This is like a brotherhood that you've created with these guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really close with both of those guys. The triple C's, right, of that class. And, but like even more guys that you become really close with. And, obviously being in Virginia the last couple years, you develop a lot of really good relationships with those guys that are, that come through there, and you just want to be a part of that. And when you go to spring training, that's when it starts. And it also helps that half our team, I feel like, is my age pretty much. We're a pretty young team, so we all tend to like the same thing, same food, same video game. So we all kind of do stuff together like that off the field even, but it starts in spring training, and you just want to help this team win and achieve the ultimate goal. And we know we have the squad to do it. And I think I know it's talked about a lot, but with our farm system, but I don't think people actually realize, and everyone says this, every team says this, but I don't think people actually realize how deep it is, and how it has been over the last 2 years plus, and how good the coaching staff is and the development system is here. It's unreal.
You know what, that it's loaded. And I'll say so not to say it wasn't at the time, it was getting there. But I guess I was there from 17 to 21. And 21 was a rough year for the Tides and the Birds, but obviously the Tides, things weren't hot. But shout out Adam for keeping us sane in the clubhouse during that time. Love that guy. You're a big food guy though, so like, where you guys go out in Norfolk? Just out of curiosity, like, what's a favorite spot? I have an idea, but I kind of want to hear one.
I mean, we're in Virginia Beach, so Roost Chris right there.
Okay, good choice.
That's a big one. I mean, there's a lot of spots around the apartment. We go to Cheesecake. There's a sushi place that's pretty good. There's a little hole in the wall Mexican spot that we like to go to. But it's hard when your every game's at night. So we really only get the chance to go after like a day game, or maybe even rain out, something like that.
Yeah, well, it's a very good point. I'm forgetting that everything's kind of changed. And by the way, hopefully you're not back there for a while. I go back to visit because I got friends there. So I will give you spots if you need to tell future players, because I want you to stay in Baltimore as long as possible. But you mentioned something here and this is where I kind of, when people talk about this, because for Jackson Holiday specifically, and guys, when they're going, oh, wait a minute, you guys play the position. No one's naive to the situations, but you guys still care about each other. And I know for you, and we've talked about this. Sorry, not you and I, Connor, because we just met. And also I've heard so many great things about you, but our groups talked about how, man, I feel like you've done everything to deserve your shot, but you had to wait and you had to be patient. And it's easy to say, well, yep, of course. But I know that that's difficult. How are you able to kind of stay in that moment, to stay grounded? Because you did talk about it. You guys got studs, man. And that's a great problem to have for the organization, but that's a tough thing when you're trying to break through and prove that you can come up here and help the squad.
I mean, first of all, it's God's timing. It's his plan. It's not mine. And it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. And I have to believe that, and I do believe that. But second of all, in my head, there's no finish line for me. Like, the big leagues isn't the finish line. There's always more that needs to be done, and I can sit back and look at my numbers in November and December for the year and be like, okay, like I had a pretty good year, right? And I've done it for the last couple of years, but like in the moment, I never feel like that, and I think that's what helps drive me, and I feel like that's what helps have me the success I have, helps get me the success I have, and there's, like I said, there's no finish line. There's not an end goal for me. I want to be a big leaguer, then I want to be an all-star, and then I want to be an MVP. Like, I want to win championships here in Baltimore. I want to do everything that you can set out to do in this game. And I believe I can do it with mentality, my skill set, my work ethic, and the people around me for sure. They're right there with me, and they deserve a ton of credit too. But I think that's what helped keep me focused. There was always more that needed to be done in my head, whether it was on the defensive side of the ball, whether it was hitting a certain type of pitch better. I know what type of player I am, and it's just being the best player of that I can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that answer because it's not, and also I want people to understand this. This is you're confident. It's not a cockiness, not an arrogance. It's, hey, I just believe in what I can do, and what I can tell. You're a grinder. You're like, hey, I can only control what I can control. I'm going to go out there and do my thing, and you don't waver that you can go out there. And I don't even know how many home runs you've hit in the minors. I know that you're stacking every record up down there in AAA. You've proven yourself, which is amazing, to say the least.
62.
Kevin,
62 home runs in the minors. I have them right.
Just comes through with the stats.
I was going to say, I was looking at it, so I could tell you, 62.
So Connor, safe to say you had a lot of practice of learning how to round the bases, all left turns. Really, you got really good at that, to say the least. Kevin, are you still there?
I'm right here. I'm waiting.
Okay. Hey, actually, Kevin, before you ask your question, Connor, a few questions will get you out of here. You ever played like NBA Jams growing up, like the arcade game by any chance?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, maybe. Well, can you show him the screen behind Rocco? So that giant thing behind Rocco is like the arcade style NBA Jams. It's a blast to play. Kevin can't win.
He can't beat the CPU. He can't beat the CPU is the issue. Like beating us, not being able to beat us is one thing. He'll go over there and practice, and he's yet to win.
I'm coming up on it.
I'm not a big believer in giving up, but I think you should give up.
I have to get it, Connor. At some point, I have to get it. At some point.
Unbelievable.
I say that too, right? Everyone does that.
So you're a pretty good game. Like, what's the game that the guys go with? I know when I was
going to ask that.
Yeah. Well, I know you got another question, Kev. Well, Kevin, we know your specialty is 0 games. No offense, Kev, you're a good kid. But what I know with like Bauman and Kramer and Irvin, it was like super strikers in spring training. What's the go-to game for you guys?
Fortnite's becoming pretty big again now.
Again?
Yeah, surprisingly. But I was big into, and I still am big into like NHL, and now I watch a ton of golf. Golf's always on in the clubhouses. Whether it's in Norfolk or in Baltimore, I feel like there's always golf on. So I play a lot of PGA. But those are pretty much the 3 I play. I try not to play too much. I really only play it at home. But what was Cowser into? Cowser was into that one Rocket League. A bunch of
that's tough. That's a tough one to play, man.
They were into that for a while. I never got into that. But I think FIFA was big at one point. But yeah, those are pretty much the mainstays. Not a lot of Call of Duty either, from what I've seen.
Okay, interesting.
NHL is so underrated.
Yeah.
I just like make my guy like a 6'9" enforcer, and I spend so much time in the penalty box. I just want to make the other team's life just hell. I don't care how many goals I score. That sounds like you. I don't know how you play, Connor, if you're like a sniper or like if you're like a power forward in it, but like I'll go full on enforcer and just try to put you through the glass when I play. That's just like my mentality when I throw in the sticks.
Probably depends on how I played earlier that day. If I had a bad night, probably.
I love it.
Oh man, do you have a specific team you play with in that game, Connor? Like you're like a favorite?
I mean, we usually do randoms, but I mean, I grew up a Wild fan, so
okay.
But we do the 3 randoms, and we pick from there. Though I did learn the one team I never can win with, and it irritates me to no end, is Edmonton.
Really? Wow, McDavid.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I think I blame goaltending because I can't control it. But that's like
it's the easiest one to blame.
Yeah, it's the one thing the one team I couldn't ever win with, especially online. And it irritated me to no end. I'm just like, I got the two of the best players in the world on the same team. I can't win a game. But yeah, me and Kobe were big into that at one point. So yeah, shout out to Kobe. Hopefully he gets back soon.
Yeah, I hope so too. That dugout in Norfolk is tricky. To say the least. So Gavin Sheets on the White Sox is my close friend, and they blame me for him falling over the railing and falling 7 feet on his back. I blame him for doing that, not myself, because he's the one that made the play. But people don't understand how.
We need context. Rip was right next to where he fell.
No.
Like he could have caught him and decided to watch him flip over, and then he walked over to him.
No, Connor, context. You want to go context again here. Gavin, who is not known for being swift or agile, said that he was going to Superman catch this ball. And I said, if you do that, I'm not going to catch you because you understand this. There's the steps of the dugout. And then on the other side is a drop off at the end of the Tides dugout. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And I go, Gavin, I physically, one, you're like 245. I'm not going to catch you. It's going to hurt. And two, I can't get to you. And what's he do? He goes over, flips over the railing, but he's fine. He debuted 2 weeks later, so it turned out well for him. But anyway, the point of it being is it's such the steps are so what's the word? Losing the track. Oh no, steep. That's it.
Sorry,
steep.
You're jet lagged.
I am. You know what? Yeah, Greece has. Well, I don't know if jet lag is the right term, Rock.
Yeah,
but
can you
Greece
say jet lag this deep into the trip?
I mean, we'll give him an excuse. Just spit it out. Spit the question out, Rip.
Yeah, and I was saying you understand that's steep there. So hopefully Kobe gets back because he was on a tear, and it's only a matter of time for his moment to come, just like it has for you. Can I ask you a fun question then, though? It's like a little bit controversial, and then we'll kind of get you out of here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. It's sponsored by our friends over at Stuggies at the stadium here. Gourmet hot dogs. They're known for their crab mac and cheese dog. Connor, I'm assuming you haven't had something like that before yet?
Nope.
Not yet. Don't worry. That's going to change. But envision this right now. We like to really imagine this. You're at the ballpark. You want to get a hot dog, right? You have an option for the condiments, your choice or no condiment. Connor Norby, what are you putting on your dog?
Ketchup, mustard, and maybe relish.
Ooh. So you like all of it. You like all the condiments.
I wouldn't say all of it. I watched Rutsch put a hot dog together the other day, and that was all of it. He had had jalapenos. He had onion. It was really a mess. There was no more hot dog at that point.
Yeah, at that point, it's just toppings, and like the hot dog's just a base at that point. Like that's not even part of the meal. That's just like the side course of what you put on it.
I didn't know what to say to him, but then I think he probably had a good night hitting. Not surprisingly. So whatever works for him, I might have to try it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the way he's, maybe you have to try the everything hot dog.
I guess
a little magic.
If that's what works for him, I mean, I'll do it.
Are you rooting for any specific condiment in the hot dog race, or it doesn't matter?
I mean, I think if you don't put anything on it, you're a criminal. A little bit.
Thank you, Ryan.
Appreciate
Front and
that.
center. Explain yourself.
Yeah,
Ryan.
Okay, time out, Connor. I feel like you already. That seemed very pointed. I know, like our friendship's just beginning here, but yeah, my philosophy here, Connor, is: do you really like a hot dog if you can't eat it plain? Do you really like a hot dog if you can't do that?
Don't give in to him, Connor. Don't give in to him.
I mean, like, it's bread. Then at that point, it feels like, but I think you have to have something on it. It's even something little.
No, but I'll tell you what, though, if I say, hey, Connor, this thing's got 4 knocks in it tomorrow, and you're going to have 3 broken bats, but you're going deep, you're going to get a plain hot dog every single day for the rest of your career.
Okay, well, you need to lead with that then next time.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, you're getting roasted a little bit, Connor, in the comments for putting all 3 on. Some people agree with you. Others, I mean, somebody asked you if you're 12 for putting.
I don't think that's that hot of a take. I don't feel like that's that hot of a take. I've heard that.
I'm
before.
a ketchup guy, but I mean, all 3. That's not. I don't think that's terrible. Never tried it before, though.
It was the first 3 things I saw next to the hot dogs the other day. So I put them all on. It was pretty good. And I think I had a knock that night. So I was like, all right, I'm sticking with it.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, and everyone knows this. But when you get going and you get hot here, don't change anything that you do, and don't let Kevin asked Kerstad about his stance. Heston, tell me how you feel about where your hands are, and then Heston went down and struck out 3 times. I'm like, dude, no. So
yeah,
keep the vibes.
Rocco was the one who got the. Rocco was the one who asked.
We're not allowed to ask you guys anything or say you're doing well. So what we're supposed to say from here on out is start it off with, you're doing a terrible job, do better. And that's exactly what Ryan wants me to do, because I told Cole Irvin that he was pitching fantastic and he had a scoreless inning streak going, and that was a no-no. Evidently, it was like the worst thing. I didn't say, hey Cole, you have a no-hitter going. Let's talk about that, because he didn't at the time. I just talked about a scoreless inning streak going forward, how well he was doing, and I get roasted. I really don't understand it, but I mean, that's just
Rocco. Real fast, did that scoreless inning streak continue after that question?
You know what? He gave up 1 earned. It was bound to happen, and it wasn't because of me. Not only were you guys wearing the City Connect jerseys that everyone talks about, the announcers also brought up the graphic as he did it, and then he immediately gave up a home run. So you can't put that on me.
Baseball is a weird sport, and if baseball gods are real and they listen to everything, I'll sit in the dugout and I'll critique. I can say, oh, it's happened both times where I've said, this guy, I don't like his swing, or and then the very next pitch, homer or something, and then I'll say something like, oh, I don't think this guy's good at all, and then he has 3 hits that night, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm keeping my mouth shut. I've learned that. So it's a weird phenomenon. It's a weird game.
I'm a slow learner, so I'm trying, man. I'm trying to figure it out and do the right thing going forward in interviews.
I'm trying to tell you this, Rocco, and everyone else here, that there's things that you can't explain, but what you can do, Rock, is not talk about no-hitters, not talk about guys' mechanics, Kevin. And if it's working, don't try to question it. Just ride it out, baby. And for you, Connor, whatever's going on, I'm sending the good vibes. Go out there, keep doing your thing. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks, man.
Enjoy the whole experience, and hopefully get a chance to meet you up here in Baltimore in the future when I get back here from Greece.
No, thank you guys. This was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Connor Norby, good luck.
Appreciate you, Connor. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Connor. Appreciate you. Awesome. Good kid. Fantastic.
It really is. But Rocco, do you understand when I say, hey, things we don't speak on right here? You can speak things into existence, but you can also speak things into.
I'm just not going to talk anymore during interviews because I don't know what to say. And you know what? I think the majority of this chat would be okay with it. Joe definitely would. Joe would be like leading the charge with that. Just
do you know how electric it would be if during an interview we're asking questions and the hands of Rocco's mouth is just duct tape shut? Sorry, it's early for me.
No, that actually, no, Kevin, you might have cooked there. Hold on.
Really?
Yeah, that might be an idea.
I'm still kind of like in my, what time does it land? Which, by the way, Rocco was very nice to document on social media.
Rocco realized, so it was Connor Norby's birthday 2 days ago. You didn't sing happy birthday.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I was wondering why you didn't do that.
I don't know. I'm not a big singer. It was really cool that he played NHL though. Not a lot of guys mess with NHL vibes.
Weirdly, I don't necessarily follow NHL. Like I obviously know what's going on. We got the Panthers versus Oilers, lost money on McDavid anytime goal last game. But besides the point, NHL is the game that video game I play the most.
It is
so
one
much
of
fun.
the best sports video games, and it's so underrated because everyone talks about MLB The Show. Everyone talks about Madden. Even FIFA, I don't know if they're still making FIFA now.
MLB The Show is going downhill bad.
But NHL, when you get together, and it's not just the fact of quick play, we're going to play with 2 teams. When you can play with your buddies and do the EA Sports, it's the eShul, it's called. It's EA Sports Hockey League, where you can each play a position, and you got your squad, and you could all talk, and you could all play, and you could put together If you want to be an enforcer, you can be an enforcer. Me and my buddy Bobby, we're power forwards, like 6'8", 6'9", and we just try to put people through the glass, and we spend the majority of the game in the penalty box. But it's fun. But enough about NHL. I know Rip is getting bored, and he's got vacations to take care of, people to see. I can tell when you're bored.
Dinner to get to. It's like 7 o'clock there. What are you talking about?
I know, that is crazy.
We are doing a final celebration. Celebration for my mom last night here, and hurrah, and we're gonna get on out of here. Rocco, I just feel like it seems like it just, you know what? I'm gonna be nice to you. You're a good kid. NHL is a great game. I actually love the game, and I'm glad you can live out a fantasy of 6'8", 6'9". It's great stuff. But you guys new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. What?
I'm just letting you know, anyone can get it in NHL. It could be you guys. It could be Connor Norby. Like I would destroy every single person in this room, in this chat.
Okay, can we clip that?
Anyone to NHL? Absolutely.
Because he doesn't understand what he just said. But yeah,
I will. It's just facts.
So we're gonna clip it, and it's gonna be the title of it. Rocco calls out Orioles infielder.
Yeah. I'll call out the entire Orioles team when it comes to that game. I will beat every single one of them.
Well, Brad's already called him out on
ping pong.
Yeah, nobody wants to see me in NHL.
Sorry, table tennis. Do not make Dean Kramer's mistake. Do not make Dean Kramer's mistake.
Well, guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button for the Ryan Ripken Show. Do this every Monday, Thursday. The guys go live post-game, which we're going to rebrand so people understand that it's still a Ryan Ripken Media, Ryan Ripken Show umbrella, but it's not the specific show that we do on a daily basis, right?
It's
its own thing, baby.
What are we going to call it, Rip? Should we just call it RRS post-game stream or something like that?
We call it prom.
Well, Joe calls it
prom.
Yeah, and I'm never invited to prom.
That's why it's prom.
Yeah,
maybe that's why
I'm
it's
never invited.
Prom.
Oh man, reliving my high school days. I actually did go to prom. Well, it was sad. It was sad.
Okay.
I was broken up with 2 weeks before prom.
Okay, so maybe we don't. Does anyone have? I had a great prom experience.
I did not. Clearly, no.
Okay,
it was fine at the end of the day. Wait,
there's gonna have to be a real big sit down on what just transpired, and I don't have the time to do this today.
Well, can I do our quick news segment with you, Ryan, since you haven't been there for it yet? It takes 2 seconds.
Okay.
For context, I caused a lot of controversy when I showed my socks on stream.
Yes. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah.
So now we have the socks of the day whenever we come in studio. So let me get situated here.
Ryan,
today,
hit the fan.
We have the Ravens socks.
Keep your shoes on, Kev.
I have to. I have to now. So we got the Raven socks today.
We want this stream to be monetized.
So I'm just showing my socks. It's the Raven socks. So that's the socks of the day. And if anybody wants to come and sponsor the socks of the day segment, I'm more than open to it. Or we are more than open to it. So just wanted to let you know what you're in store for when you come back, Ryan. Hope you're having a good vacation.
We're sorry, Ryan. He looks so proud of
it. There's a lot of things that we're going to change when I get back.
Yes.
And
please.
But I appreciate you all. I really do. And for all of I know, Zach, you'll get to our sponsors with Hollywood Casino, Adams Jeep, the English Premier League that's coming to Annapolis. I know you'll take care of that. Kevin, I'm going to wash away whatever the hell has been going on. That's better than your corn dog incident where you won.
That wasn't me. People decided they wanted to screenshot me. No one had to do that, but people decided to do it.
Kevin, you realize there's like someone in like Czechoslovakia just like watching this show just for that segment right there.
For
just,
the sock segment or the corn dog
just waiting
segment?
for the I actually don't know anymore. But like, there's someone in a different country right now that is tuning in just for Kevin Oestreicher's
socks.
Sock segment.
I literally showed the socks. There was no foot involved in this.
Potential wiggle. It's still under.
It was a flex. It was a flex. We rolled the tape, and New York awarded me the challenge successful.
Yeah. And if you are new to the post-game show, Kevin, if the Orioles win tonight, Kevin said for every sweep the Orioles get, the number of games of the series, so today would be 4, The Orioles win tonight and sweep the Rays. Kevin is eating 4 spicy pickles on stream.
Yes,
Ryan, you need to stop this, please.
I've been training for the 1 chip challenge. I said at 50K, I'll do the 1 chip challenge.
No,
like Rocco and Zach did.
no.
But I've been training with spicy pickles, and I did say if the Orioles sweep the next sweep, how many games it is, I will eat that many spicy pickles on stream. And when I eat spicy pickles, it gets a little crazy. So
Okay.
See the O's tweet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate you, everyone. I appreciate our community. I miss you guys. We will be back on a normal basis, and we are going to rebrand for the Zach and Kevin post games to be prom. Even though Kevin's heart was broken, he likes to rock out with his sock out. We will change it all.
wow.
I'm going to digest what the hell is happening here on the Ryan Ripken Media channel, but we do have a lot that's in store here moving forward. That I can guarantee you. Cannot guarantee that what Kevin's doing is going to be allowed in the future. But having said that, appreciate you guys all. Have a day, have a night. Hit that like and subscribe button.
Yeah.
And also, last thing, the episode we will put on the podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get it, on the audio format so you guys can listen to it in the future. Okay?
Yep. All right, Ryan. Yeah. And Aviator just made it last second. We're going to continue. Ryan just has to go skedaddle, but we still have plenty of topics to discuss today, including one that just kind of broke for the Baltimore Orioles. So we'll go over all of that and more in a few seconds. But Ryan will be back with us full time coming up. So
Yeah, we're allowing him
Hey,
back.
make sure you send some content in for the subscribers of the show, Rip.
I
from
actually
Greece.
am having people send
Take some pictures. Take some videos.
People like the socks of the day segment so much they're sending me socks to wear on the stream.
Oh my god,
So multiple.
Yeah.
people.
this is ridiculous.
Cool. All right, guys. Have a day,
All right.
have a night. See
Have
you
fun
guys
with
all.
Acropolis.
All right.
Enjoy.
See you,
Greece.
Rip.
Peace out, Ryan.
Bye, buddy.
and anarchy.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your
Straight
man.
up anarchy. But so I guess we were just down in Tampa talking to Connor Norby, but let's take a drive, I would say, up back to Baltimore on our Adams Jeep. Hit it. Yeah, Kevin, you look so depressed driving the Jeep. Yeah, so shout out our sponsors, Adams Jeep. Awesome people. Rocco, do you know the code for what you have to say if you purchase a vehicle for a free $500 gas card? What do you have to say?
Do I have to say it?
You do have to say it.
Well, you have to, if you go there and tell them that you watch the Ryan Ripken Show, or if you go there and tell them that you hate me or that I suck or anything negative about me, you will get continue, Zach, because it's like I usually zone out for this part of the segment because
You get a free $500 gas gift card.
go.
So
Yeah.
all you have to do is go up there and get yourself a car and say, hey, I watched the Ryan Ripken Show, or I really don't like Rocco, or Kevin socks. There was a toe wiggle. Any of those things will get you that gas gift card. But kind of impromptu, I guess, segment here, because the Baltimore Orioles are now, I guess they're just joining the trend. Wouldn't you say, Rocco, at this point?
With what?
The what they just announced, the Orioles post.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So for those who do not know, the Baltimore Orioles, I guess, are now partnering with
T. Rowe Price.
Yeah, T. Rowe Price. So T. Rowe Price will be on the, Kevin, give him a clap. Okay. So T. Rowe Price will have a patch on the sleeve of the Baltimore Orioles jerseys debuting tomorrow against the Atlanta Braves. So from now on, after today's game, the Orioles will have a nice, shiny new patch on the sleeve for T. Rowe Price. This is something that every MLB team is doing. We've seen the Yankees do it. I think the biggest one that just honestly, in my opinion, just sticks out like a sore thumb is the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh my goodness.
Wow,
Kansas City Royals.
Rent free in your head, man. Got to get them out. Come on.
I know what you're referring to too. It's
I don't know what I'm referring to.
Oh, well, you made a funny joke without knowing.
Oh, all right.
Kansas City Royals have Quick Trip, which is really interesting because it's a big, bright red patch on their blue jerseys. So that stands out. It was bound to happen. I mean, that's where the MLB's going.
Yeah.
I mean, there was another way to avoid any. I mean, there's not much to talk about, but any thoughts from you guys?
I mean, it's where all sports are going. Honestly, like we're gonna, the NBA has their patches. Obviously, soccer's been very in tune with that for a long time now, and I think it's only a matter of time before I mean, even like the practice jerseys for NFL teams. The Ravens have the Ford across theirs, so not surprising. I personally will go to bat for this and say that I like it. I know a lot of people, it's been mixed reviews right now, but not surprising. And, take that as you will. But, it's something that I think a lot of people knew was coming in some way, shape, or form. But
listen, if the Orioles have to wear a T. Rowe Price patch on their sleeves in order to sign Adley and Gunnar to extensions, every damn day. Every damn day. This is, like we said, this is where the MLB's going. This is where every single sport, it seems like, is going. So no big shock here. I guess maybe the biggest shock is that it's mid-season. Like, I thought maybe it would do it, to debut it on like an opening day or something. But here we are. We are into 2024 where it's just a thing. People have, focus on me. There we go. They have ads on their jerseys, so nothing huge there, but did want to update everyone that will be starting tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit different type of Orioles, though. In fact, let's talk a little bit down on the farm. We haven't really talked down on the farm in a little bit, but baseball's number one prospect, heating up a little bit. Jackson Holliday continuing to, I don't know if I want to say get his swagger back, but it kind of feels like that in a lot of cases. When he first went down there, it was well documented. He struggled when he got up to the big leagues. They sent him down there to make some adjustments, and he struggled. There were some changes in his swing and his stance people have seen, and it took some time for him to adjust. But man, over the past 10 days, Rocco, I know you've tweeted out a few times, just different things. He looks back to the Jackson Holliday that we all know and love and have followed through his time with the Orioles organization.
Yeah, the two hits that stick out to me over the last two games was, the reason that the Orioles didn't bring him up at first, because the main reason was because of the inexperience against the left-handed pitchers at the AAA and the major league level. And when Jackson came up, he did struggle, obviously, and that is why they sent him back down to work on himself as a baseball player and get his swagger back. And in those two games, you saw, and the two games that I'm talking about, and these two hits might be a small sample size, but the hope is that he starts to heat up down there and find his groove again. And that's what I'm hoping happens, especially early on in June, because, later on in the season, I feel like Jackson Holliday will be up again with the Orioles this season at some point in time. It's inevitable. Could be wrong, but I think it's going to happen. It's a matter of when. When is he going to be ready? When are they going to feel like he's ready? But the last two games, he's had a homer off a left-handed pitcher, okay? And then he had a 2-run double off the wall off a left-handed pitcher. So in those two games, he saw a left-handed pitcher as well. I haven't looked at his stats fully against lefties down in the minor leagues since he got sent down, but looking at what he's done in those two games, I feel like it can give him some confidence that, okay, the lefties, like he's starting to feel it out and get that swagger back like you talked about, Zach. So hopefully that's the case going forward, and Jackson Holliday's up in the show in due time again, because we don't want to see him down there in AAA forever. This isn't going to be a case of, okay, Jackson Holliday is just going to sit there and just rot in AAA. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, but I also think it's good that they now have this situation with Mateo playing so well. Urias is finding it, where it's not like they have to rush him. It's not like they're on this specific, if one thing happens, all of a sudden Jackson's back up, where I think it's valuable for him to get this time still in AAA. And obviously we know he can play AAA ball. There's no question about it. But they don't have to do anything crazy. Like, they can keep him down there, and then when the time is right, they can bring him back up. It doesn't have to be a forced situation where it's like, was this timing really right? Was it not? because it was a roller coaster to start the year. He's sent down before the year starts, gets called up a couple weeks in, and then, has the struggles, gets sent back down. That's a lot of movement, especially when Jackson had the start that he did in the MLB. So I'm glad that he was able to go back down, go through a little bit more struggle, and then find his groove again, because I think that's obviously the Jackson everybody knows that he can be. I agree. I think Jackson will be up at some point again this year. I'm still of the belief that when he is, you're not bringing him up to sit. You have to be able to find time for him. I don't think it's worth it to bring him up and have him just sit on the bench for 5 out of every 6 days and have him be a, quote unquote utility guy or whatever you want to call it. So Jackson's a really talented player, and I'm happy he's finding his groove again.
Yeah, he has, if my math is correct, and that is always up for interpretation. He has a hit in 13 of his last 16 games, and that's really what you wanted to see, especially after the early struggles. And in a lot of these games, he's getting on base in ways where he doesn't have to get a hit. We've seen games where he's walked 3 times over the past few weeks. So it really is big, and I think it's big for his confidence to get back in that groove where he's going the other way again. He's not just pulling the ball. We're seeing the power start to come back, and he's looking once again like the Jackson Holiday we saw in the minors before he got called up to the majors the first time. So do I think he is back up on the team this year? Without a doubt. I think Jackson Holiday is going to be a big, important part to this team down the stretch this year and in years down the line. But I've seen people say, and we talked about this last night, Kevin, there are people saying, hey, why don't you just keep him down there and bring him up next year? Do we not remember where we were 2 months ago as an organization, as a fan base?
Mayhem.
It was mayhem. Every time Jackson Holiday got a single, every time an Orioles second baseman got out, Jackson Holiday was trending. Why is Jackson Holiday not up? Now people are, thanks to Jorge, thanks to Connor Norby, people seem okay with Jackson not being on this team right now. I think he still ends up being on this team, I would say, after the All-Star break, probably in that late July, early August window. We're going to see him. What about you guys? Rocco, do you have any kind of prediction? Obviously, it's just a prediction. We don't know anything official, but anything, or you think we see him?
I think he's going to pick up steam. And obviously, this is a prediction. I'm just throwing it out there. But I think after the All-Star break, or even leading into it, he is going to pick up some steam, and they will bring him up post All-Star break at some point in time. I don't know what month, but I'm definitely see him back up in the bigs at some point if he finds his groove and stays consistent down there. Right now, just as a whole, and this is the entire season, he's hitting 260 against lefties, 284 against righties. I'm looking at the splits right now because I know he talked about that earlier. So since he came back down, he had struggled a little bit. Mm-hmm. And you know what? That's okay.
That was what they wanted.
That's what they want him to do. Mm-hmm. Get more games under your belt in AAA, face some more experienced guys, struggle a little bit, and then really find your groove, make adjustments, because that was the thing with Jackson Holiday. And, I still think that this is the case. He has been able to adjust at every single level. Obviously, you go into the major leagues and you struggle. You are also facing the best of the best of the best. It's not easy going up there. We've seen some very, very talented players, not only prospects coming up. We've seen guys that have been in the show for 5-10 years. They struggle. Not making excuses for Jackson Holiday. I'm just saying baseball is a tough game. It happens. And these things are going to happen to any player throughout their career. Slumps, struggles, whatever. He's gone back down. Let him struggle a little bit. Obviously, they don't want him to struggle forever, but it's a good thing to struggle at times. And this is the stage to do it on in AAA. The team, I don't want to use the term don't need you right now, but the Orioles are winning. They're fine.
I'll use it. The team doesn't need him right now.
The team doesn't need him right now. Exactly. So when he comes up, when he's ready, make sure he's ready, good to go, and fine. And you know what? There's a chance that if they call him back up, he might struggle again. Who the hell knows? Mm-hmm. Honestly, it is bound to happen with every player. But for Jackson, making the adjustments necessary at the AAA level, finding your groove, finding your swagger, getting back to the player that everyone knows you can be, and performing at the highest level, that is what this fan base can hope for. They want to see their number one prospect, their former number one overall pick, back up here in Baltimore in due time and cheering them on.
Yeah, and I think Brian put this perfectly. What's the plan for Jackson? Keep on playing him and keep getting better.
Yes.
That is perfectly put, Brian.
Love
Yeah,
that.
well, that's exactly. I mean, I'll ask both of you guys, kind of going off of the point I made earlier. If he comes back up, what's the role you want to see him in? Because if Mateo keeps playing the way he's playing, Arias has found his bat over the last couple of weeks, and obviously Connor is there right now. Are you bringing him up and having him platoon with Mateo? Is he playing different positions? I mean, what are you doing when he's up there? Because it's a good problem to have, a great problem to have, because you have so many players playing well, and then you have this top prospect. But what would the role be that you would want him in? And then what would a role be that you're like, oh, this really wasn't worth it, they shouldn't have done this?
He has to start every game.
Yeah.
Maybe a game, obviously game off here and there,
So then what do you do with Mateo?
I'm sorry. Like he's on the bench.
It's a conversation, right?
Yeah. It sucks. It really doesn't. It sucks because of how well Jorge's doing. And obviously Joe kind of talked about it right here in the comments. We'll see what Jorge does after he gets off the concussion list.
Is it a bad problem to have if that happens?
No,
not at all.
Not
To have
at
Jorge
all.
Mateo, the way he's playing, potentially down the line, coming off of your bench and helping you in a postseason push with his speed, with his glove, with the way his bat has been as of late. I don't think that's a bad problem to have at all, man. You've seen,
and we see the versatility of Jorge.
Yes,
We've seen him in the outfield. Kevin knows my opinion on Jorge in the outfield. I like my infielders in the infield and my outfielders in the outfield. But Jorge, if you're going to make one guy do it, he's got the athleticism for it. So
yeah,
it's one of those things. But it sucks for Jorge. It sucks for those guys because when Jackson Holliday gets called up, Jackson Holliday's got to start. Jackson Holliday's got to play. Kevin, you said what situation would I be like this wasn't worth it if he's not playing every day? And this would be totally different if we were talking about a Heston Kjerstad, someone who is older, in that 24, 25 range. Jackson Holliday's 20 years old.
It's crazy.
Like you need him playing every day just for his development. There are guys like Stowers where it's okay to keep them on the bench for a few days because they've already reached what they can do in AAA. Now it's okay. Can you help this ball club in these certain roles? For Jackson, you're still so early in the development phase. And that's what's so exciting about Jackson because we see how good he is this early in his development. But you're just hurting him and the organization if you bring him up and you don't play him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was the whole conversation right when he got sent down too, before the season started. When they brought him back up, it's like, what are you doing with Jackson? It's a great problem to have with Mateo. Now, again, it's like all of a sudden Jackson comes up, Mateo's not getting at bats. You're asking, what did Mateo do? Nothing. We're going to see it again. We're going to see. We're talking about things right now that are hypotheticals. Nothing has happened, and I don't think any of us expect anything to happen for the next month or so. But at the end of the day, Jackson would have to be playing mostly every single day to make that worth it to me, especially because, Zach, you said he's so into his development phase right now. It's important for him to get those reps, whether at AAA or the MLB.
Like I said, I don't see this happening for a little bit.
Yep.
I see this being, if it's going to be a move, a post-All-Star game move, because it's going to take Jackson to get super hot down there in AAA where it's like, okay, he's ready again. Like, we believe that this is the point in time because there is a reason, and you know what? We might not have agreed with it. There are a ton of people across the fan base didn't agree with it. Baseball writers that we've talked to on the show didn't agree with it. Everyone believed that Jackson Holliday should have been the starting second baseman before. And then he came up and he struggled. And it's like, okay, we were against sending him down. People were against sending him down.
Yeah.
They wanted him to figure it out. Now that he is, okay, hindsight's obviously 2020. Were we wrong at first? Absolutely. I think we'll all own up to that. And a lot of people were. Like, we truly believed. Mike Elias has a plan. He'll bring him up when he's ready. He'll bring him up when he's good to go. When they see, okay, this is the time, and you know what? We're bringing you up. We're not going to send you down again. They're going to bring him up.
Yeah.
But when that is this season, remains to be seen at this point in time. But it's going to take, obviously, I hate to say this, but it's going to take someone getting injuries within the starting lineup. Knock on wood. You don't want to see that happen. Or Jackson to get absolutely scorching hot, and then they'll bring him up.
Yeah, and it is just a waiting game at this point, and we'll see what happens. Michael Elias and them have a plan, and I think they might have kind of gone away from it for a little bit at the beginning. I think they got a little, I won't want to say trigger happy, but they got excited. They thought, hey, let's see if Jackson can go up there and see what he does, with knowing that if he failed, it's not the worst thing. So we'll see how all of that plays out throughout the season. But last kind of Orioles topic before we get into a little AL East, and then we are going to wrap up with some spicy topics and Ravens talk before we get out of here. We also have Jason Benowitz will be joining the show in a little bit to talk about the pasture. So be on the lookout for that.
Can I leave before Jason comes on? I don't really feel like talking to Jason.
Too bad.
You know how I feel about Jason.
Now you're definitely staying on.
He's my sworn enemy.
Yep. No,
I'm just kidding. I love Jason. Let's not get it twisted. Does he love me though?
No.
That remains to be seen as well.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So, but before we get into our next topic, I want to talk about something important, because international soccer, Rocco, you hear that international, that means not from America. International soccer returns this summer. Don't miss your chance to see teams from the biggest league in the world in Annapolis as they compete for their first trophy of the season, the Stateside Cup. Be there when Premier League clubs Crystal Palace and Wolves take the pitch July 31st at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. With the series trophy on the line, competition will be fierce, and tickets are on sale for as low as $35. Buy your tickets today at statesidecup.com. This really is like, for Premier League teams to come over here, like this is as good as soccer as you're gonna say.
I'm telling you, man, like you see the atmosphere overseas, like when you see like the international like aspect of it and how fired up the fan bases are, like they want to come over here and play here in America and play in Annapolis. It's like show up. Yeah. $35. If you have kids, take them down. If you want to go with a significant other, enjoy it. I think it'll be a great day, a great time.
And who knows, maybe we'll be there.
Have you guys been to a soccer game before?
I've not been. I've never, not international for sure.
When
does the Baltimore Blast count?
No, it doesn't. But that's, I mean,
electric
awesome.
Though. We can talk about that another time.
International wise, I got to see Real Madrid play the Philadelphia Union, I believe, at the Link back when Ronaldo was still on the team, and that place was sold out. It was epic, like firing off the charts, and like everyone was loud. But I mean, it's a really enjoyable game when you're there, when you see the atmosphere, and just go take it in. Seriously, we might need to get a FIFA tournament going before that.
We might have to.
Talked about NHL. No one can beat me in FIFA.
Oh, dude, I would smoke you in FIFA.
No.
Yes, Kevin, I would.
No, you wouldn't. But
Kevin,
it's all right. It's okay.
Kevin, you could get me on my worst day, and I'd still put up 4 goals against you.
You can believe it. I'll let you believe it.
I just simply would. All right, bring your Xbox in here.
Why don't you bring your Xbox in here?
PS4.
I know. I have an Xbox.
All right, you have an Xbox?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can exchange gamer tags and play.
Okay.
All
right.
Do
you have an Xbox?
Yeah.
Why'd you say PS4?
I didn't know if you had a PS4.
No, I don't. I have Xbox.
Okay. Are you awake?
I'm here.
Just incredible camera work right now by you, Zach, like on the switcher.
Thank you. I've just been sitting here just switching back and forth. But let's move on to our last little Orioles-centric conversation, because I think it is now safe to say the dark days of the Baltimore Orioles pitching staff are looking like they're behind us. For a long time, decades, it felt the Baltimore Orioles were in search of the very coveted ace. They needed that ace to be the frontline starter to go help them win games. But Rocco, we were talking a little bit earlier today. Is it safe to say the Orioles have 3 aces?
I'm telling you what, man. It's like looking at the 3 guys they have, their top 3 in Corbin Burnes and Kyle Bradish and Grayson Rodriguez. Rip said this word for word. He's like, I would take that top 3 over any top 3 in baseball. And you know, if you're not an Orioles fan, you might think there's some bias there with the Ripken name. There's not. Looking at these guys, it's like, look at the top 3 they have. Look at the top 3 for every other Major League Baseball team. And I'm telling you what, if the Orioles aren't at the top, they're at least top 3 or 5. I mean, these are 3 of the best pitchers in baseball with what they're doing. They're young. Grayson and Bradish are just. It's you have your ace in Corbin Burnes, and then you have guys that were like, okay, like, could Kyle Bradish be the ace leading in? And it's like, okay, yeah, he can. Looking at his stuff last season and looking at how he's progressed. And now you look at Kyle Bradish this season, even coming off the UCL sprain, it's like, this guy's the real deal. I mean, we knew that last season, but he's building off of that despite an elbow injury that some were going to think, okay, this is going to stunt him or limit him in what he does. And while he started the season on the IL, Kyle Bradish has not skipped a beat. And you may look at the, extra rest. He has skipped a beat. But like, I don't view it as that, man, because he came out after that hiccup with the 5 earned runs. We're going to wipe that, Men in Black, how they have that pen, erase that from your memory. Because look at the starts that Kyle Bradish has made this season, and they have been incredible. What he's able to do, he threw not a full no-hitter, but he went, 7 innings of no-hit baseball, and then he went 6 innings of one-hit baseball in 2 of his last 3 starts. That's the Kyle Bradish you want to see on the mound.
And that hit was the first batter, so he retired, what was it? Ended up being 18 in a row? 18 in a row, I believe. So, yeah, and if, people about the extra rest, if you're going to get that performance from Kyle Bradish after he gets an extra day or 2 of rest,
take it every time.
Every single time. You do that every single time. Kyle Bradish, electrifying stuff. And this is exactly what we were hoping to see from Kyle Bradish, because there were questions. There still are questions about the arm and everything. And we've talked to medical experts. We've talked to media about, national media about Kyle Bradish, and they all kind of say the same thing of, yeah, the Orioles are playing with house money with this. It's just, you always hold your breath when he pitches, no matter what right now. And that's true. But if you were going to say, give Orioles fans before this year, when the diagnosis of Bradish.
Dude, I'm not laughing at like what you're saying. I'm continue because I just want to bring something up after you're done. Yeah.
If you would have told Orioles fans before the year, right after the Kyle Bradish news broke, hey, Bradish is only going to miss a month and he's going to come and throw these type of games, Orioles fans would have been beside yourself.
I just want to like bring up the numbers right now, and we're going to add in Cole Irvin because Cole Irvin's been fantastic.
Yeah.
And I really do love Albert Suarez. He flies under the radar a lot of the times because he's the 5th pitcher in this rotation. But this is a guy that has done everything he's been asked to do, from starting a game on short notice when Tyler Wells went on the IL to, okay, you're going to move to the bullpen, to, okay, now you're going to make a start for us and probably continue in this rotation going forward, but you may move back to the bullpen at some point in time. Who the heck knows? Looking at the numbers, man, this is laughable in the best way possible, because name a time when you remember the rotation being this good this early on, Zach, okay?
Yep.
Let me start here. 2024 stats. Grayson Rodriguez, 7-2 with a 3.27 ERA, 71 strikeouts, okay? Kyle Bradish, 2-0 with a 2.62 ERA, 49 strikeouts.
Gross.
Corbin Burns, 6-2 with a 2.26 ERA, 76 strikeouts. Cole Irvin, 6-2 with a 2.87 ERA, 43 strikeouts. Oh, and wait, Albert Suarez, 2-0 with a 1.83 ERA, 33 strikeouts.
That's disgusting.
That's disgusting.
That's gross.
And
that is gross to listen to.
Not to mention, Dean Kramer's numbers might not be fantastic this season, but when you get Dean back, that is another starter that you have to the rotation, and you could do whatever you want, mix and match. If you want to send a guy to the bullpen and say, okay, you're going to be here, we need a long reliever, you do that, and you bring Dean back. Dean's 3-4 with a 4.32 ERA and 49 strikeouts, but I'm confident that Dean will turn those numbers around. He's got the stuff. He's proven to have this stuff. So, man, this rotation, we're not talking about the top 3. We're talking about all of these guys, like among the best rotations in all of baseball, despite the names, because Cole Irvin and Albert Suarez, people aren't going to look at these guys as household names. They're not going to be like, I guarantee you that, I don't know, let's throw out like a random
household
number,
names. Raise your hand if you knew who Albert Suarez was before this season.
You stole my line from last night.
Yes, I did.
What'd you say?
That word
That
for
exact
word.
line.
Word for word. Bar for bar.
Oh, man. It's like.
Yes,
yeah.
Joe, you're back. Sorry, I had to let Joe know. But yeah, this.
On top of that, Zach, when you have guys, and Kevin, when you have, like, it feels like, and I don't want to jinx anything here, but when you look at Grayson Rodriguez going 6 innings with, no hits, no walks, when you have Kyle Bradish going 6 or 7 innings with no hits, no, you have to wonder, like, is this going to potentially happen this season? Someone is going to do the, I'm not going to say the word, but fill in the blanks right there. Because of the way these guys have been pitching, because of the way these guys have been going late into games and, keeping the opposition hitless or limiting the walks and whatnot, it's like, just makes you wonder a little bit.
I'm actually going to say no to your thing, because I think the way the Orioles have managed their rotation this year, guys aren't going super deep into games because they want to save them.
Well, the pitch count gets up too when you look at that.
I know, yeah, and it's context, right? But I mean, especially when you talk about like the Bradish start, and everybody was like, keep him in. I'm like, no.
He was at what, 103
He was at 100
pitches or something like that.
and,
I think it was 103.
Yeah.
And, we threw that question out there and it was like, no, for him to like throw a no-hitter, he would have had to have gotten to like
125 or something.
130, potentially 140.
Who needs elbows?
I'd say throw with your other arm.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I love the older crowd was just kind of like, they're talking about like Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
Like, he would have never came out of that game. Like, listen, times have changed.
Yeah,
guys.
it's like Nolan Ryan.
Times have changed.
They were also smoking cigs in the dugout because they were anxious about the game. This ain't the same MLB anymore. But to wrap this up, I want to move on a little bit, stay in the Orioles realm. But we're gonna go back to Kevin's favorite game, fact or crap.
Kevin looks miserable right now. Kevin,
I'm just here.
You're here so you don't get fined.
No, I'm here because I want to be here.
You're just not like in your chipper mood right now. I need some more just like enthusiasm from you. There we go.
Oh,
come on, Kevin.
Fire me up, Kevin.
Come on, Kev.
All right, let's talk about this fact or crap.
That'll wake you up. Let's get the smelling salts out.
Wait,
Yeah, let's do it.
Me up.
Let's do it.
Jesus.
Dude, you need to clip that, please. If you had the camera on Kevin for that,
no, I did not just have it.
Be clipped. Kevin, do it again.
I don't know if
Let's go, baby. Okay, that got me fired up. Let's talk AL East baseball.
Unbelievable.
So I will ask you guys, because before this season, we've talked about off screen, the Orioles were projected to win decent amount of games. You saw a lot of 92 to 95 win totals for the Orioles preseason, but something you also saw was the Orioles not only not winning the division in a lot of cases, the Orioles finishing behind teams like the Toronto Blue Jays, behind the Tampa Bay Rays, and in a lot of places, it was not uncommon to see the Orioles finishing third or fourth in their season projections. But that's not how, as we sit here on June 10th, a lot of baseball left to be played, obviously, but that's not exactly how the division is playing out. So I must ask you guys now, fact or crap? We'll start with you, Rocco. The AL East is a 2-team race heading on June 10th.
Still a lot of baseball left to be played, man. It's hard not to say that these won't be the two teams competing for the AL East when it's all said and done, the O's and the Yankees, because right now when you create that much separation, it is hard to get back in the but then you factor in injuries happen. You saw what happened to Soto, and he's been on the shelf for a bit. And then you have, injuries to the Orioles starting rotation. And you know what? They haven't really skipped a beat. And that's good. But the question is, can they sustain it going forward? That is, of course, the hope. I am going to say right now, I'm going to go crap that it's a 2-team race. Okay. Because I think it's so early on in the season that there's a team that could either make a trade at the All-Star break. A lot of hypotheticals here, obviously. We love playing this game. But I think we're going to see a team sneak up and gain a little bit of ground and make this a 3-team race when it's all said and done.
Do you have a prediction of who you think that team is?
I don't know, man.
In my head, it's just hard not to say Toronto.
That's who I wanted to say too, but I'm not sure, because you look at these, and we were talking about it before the show, the American League projected 2024 standings, okay? And obviously a lot can happen throughout a season, but they had, and I remember putting this out, and it was just like the Orioles are projected to finish tied for third in the AL East with the Rays, okay? 87 wins was the projection, which is insane to me. Okay. They had the Yankees at 92 and 70. They had the Blue Jays in second at 88 and 74. They had, and this is for Baseball Prospectus. Okay.
Mhm.
But MLB put this out. Then they had the O's, okay, at 87 and 75, Rays at 87 and 75, and the Red Sox in the basement at 79 and 83. Based on those projections, I thought it was crazy to have the Orioles tied for third and an 87-win team, considering they just won 101 games last season.
Yeah.
Like, it baffled me. But I think it could be the Blue Jays sneaking up on both the Orioles and Yankees and making this a 3-team race when it's all said and done. But we'll see.
That's just the only team that I can look at their roster right now and say, yeah, that's a team that can put it together and go win a few games. I agree. Saying the Blue Jays ahead of the Orioles, especially after last season, was very insulting. But the one team, and I maybe it's just recency bias because of this past week. What happened to the Tampa Bay Rays, man? Because it's
tough, dude.
I mean, I know they lost a few key pieces in the offseason with Glass now, Margot, obviously the whole Franco ordeal. So
yeah. And then,
but man, like they're not scoring. Like their pitchers aren't doing what we're used to Tampa Bay's pitchers doing, where we just see them flat out dominate. They bring in 5 no names, and they are still doing that where they just have random guys that will go out there and throw a 3 ERA like it's nothing.
Yep.
But the difference is that offense, it just feels like there's no part in that offense right now, especially with a lot of their guys struggling, where you're like, oh, if they get it going there, they can make some noise. They just scream 500 team right now.
I see injuries have crippled the Rays pitching. McClanahan, he's on, underwent Tommy John surgery last season, and he's been on the shelf as well. So it's like, that was a guy who was in Cy Young consideration last year.
But that's what I'm saying is the Rays historically, though, have always been crippled, it feels like, by pitching injuries, but they're just a factory who continue to produce these guys. And it feels like maybe this year it's just not quite there. Obviously, we still have like 100 games left of baseball, guys. So much can change. But right now, I'm leaning more fact than I am crap about this being a 2-team race, because it's so early in the season. I know that, but there's no team besides, I could potentially see the Blue Jays making a run, but then you also see the Blue Jays, they don't even know, they could be firing their manager. It feels like you see so many rumors about that stuff. It just feels like there's a lot of distraction there as well. So on June 10th, I'll say fact, it is a 2-team race. Kevin, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm leaning more fact as well. I mean, again, like, you can't predict the outcomes that's going to happen in September today, but just based off of trends, I mean, if we try to look ahead as far as we can, I mean, I could see, like, Toronto has so much talent. I'm shocked they haven't been better this season.
Yeah.
But again, like you guys were saying, that's really the only team I can see potentially making a run, but that's if they put it all together. And sometimes a team that has a lot of individual talent does not always have that come to fruition in terms of team talent and team success. So when we're talking about these Orioles-Yankees series later in the year and everything about it, it just feels like those are the 2 most talented teams in the division. There's a pretty big cushion right now that, again, could shrink depending on what happens. We're still pretty far into we're not far into the year. We're about 2 months in. We still have a long way to go. But it just feels like when we're talking about this again in September, we're going to be talking about how important those Orioles-Yankees series were.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's a 2-game difference, 3-game difference. I just don't feel like Toronto, Boston, or Tampa is going to be in that conversation. But again,
you never know.
Anything can happen, so I'm not going to completely write it off.
Just like last year when the Rays had that historic start, they started out hot and they didn't even win the division. A lot can happen in a 162-game season. I'm just trying to defend my point right here because I'm outnumbered as usual.
No, I think this is, people handed the Rays the division after 13 games last year.
Yeah,
it was over.
It was over.
It was done. Stop the count. It was completely over. And then the Orioles, I was just looking at last 162. It's actually incredible just how consistent the Orioles are. They finished last year with 101 wins. How many wins do they have over the last 162 games? 101. So teams like the Rays and Blue Jays have sat right around 500 over the last 162, winning about 83 games. So they feel like they're just a 500. And I think they'll probably make the playoffs. I think that's another big thing is the difference between the Orioles and that third wild card team is like 8.5 games right now. So these teams, this is not saying these teams won't make the playoffs because the wild card right now is wide open. Everyone's a contender for the wild card, but it's going to be interesting to see how things are played out there. Any final thoughts on that factor crap?
No.
All right.
I'm all good, man. Let's
Awesome. So next, I do want to bring in real quick our guest to talk about something going on. Oh, man. Oh my God.
No. You gotta sit down and do that exact face with that on the screen. We need a side-by-side comparison of Rocco now and Rocco.
Rocco, it's time to come back, buddy. But Jason Benowitz, welcome to the show. How's it going, buddy?
Hey guys. I'm sorry.
Where's the picture?
Hold on. Just,
Do the face.
Yeah, all right. Here we go.
Is it this?
No, other way. Lean the other way.
Oh yeah.
I did it. I don't know how I did it.
Oh baby. But yeah, Jason. Jason, how's it going, buddy?
what's up, boys? How we doing?
Big day tomorrow in Birdland. Big day. You want to talk about what's going on?
Yeah. Well, if you follow any of these guys, including unfortunately Rocco, you've probably seen at some point tomorrow. We're running the pasture back. We're trying it again. Mother Nature was not kind last time, but things will look great for tomorrow. Knock on wood. Looks like it's gonna be a great day. The last update I got this morning was just over 150 people are coming. And it looks like there's even been a couple more since I last checked. So yeah, we're gonna have a pregame over at 771. Come out for that. Zach will probably be there in his onesie, so we're gonna make sure he doesn't die of heat stroke. Yeah,
I'll be there.
Kevin, I don't know where Kevin will be.
I gotta record,
probably at home
man.
sleeping.
I wish I could go.
See?
I gotta do some stuff for work. I work all the time, man.
But don't worry, I'll be at the pasture recording content. So
Yeah.
you guys, you find me, I will probably have my phone recording. So
And then
just heads up.
I haven't heard from Timu Eminem yet if he's gonna be there. So he hasn't told me.
We'll see.
Dude,
I might.
If you don't come,
might stop by for a little bit. Did you make sure that the weather was going to be okay this time, Jason?
Yes,
Oh my!
And you were calling me worse than the tornado, Jason.
Yeah, this guy he's just. Oh man.
How about you watch your local channels like Fox 45 and check out what the meteorologist has to say?
Do you know how long it takes to do something like this? You can't check weather a month out, Rocco.
Call your buddy who works at the local news station and maybe they'll have like an inside tip for you or something.
Allegedly works at the local news station.
Allegedly. Yeah, whatever.
So yeah, Jason, where can you buy tickets if you still would like to come to the pasture?
Yeah, I've posted the link probably 12 times in the last 12 hours on my Twitter, X. It's everywhere. It's pretty much there. If you follow me on Instagram, which I don't use as much, but I've posted it there too. But that is, if you want to sit with the group, that's kind of the exclusive place for it. If you just went to the Orioles website right now, couldn't find anything in 72, because this is the only place to get them. They're cheaper, up through midnight tonight. I know last time they extended it a little bit, but I think this time they're actually cutting it off at midnight. So if you haven't got your ticket yet and you want to show up, hang out with us,
just drop the link in the chat.
Midnight.
So yeah,
Cool.
Link is now in the chat. Use that to go and buy your pasture tickets. It's going to be a good time. We will also see. It's going to be a great game. I hope Braves. I've just been all over the place on team. I called the Royals the Chiefs earlier today, Jason. It's just been one of those days.
Hey, it's early for you. Well, I'll forgive it.
Yeah. And then yes, we will put it in the Discord as well. We will put the link in there so that you can go through there and use it. I'll do that right now.
Can we bring up how Joe spelled weather?
Oh no.
Can we?
Joe.
He spelled weather. Arkansas Joe is really living up to his Arkansas name.
Arkansas.
Yeah. Just if the shoe fits,
Now,
right?
listen, Joe.
Hey,
Joe
wait,
is out there working hard, probably driving your Red Bull around, so he doesn't have time to type.
I got mine right here. Honestly, the pear cinnamon, very good. I didn't think I'd be a
very
pear
good.
cinnamon guy.
If you guys have any of those left, save me one because I've been wanting to try one, and Joe can't get me one. So.
Unfortunately, me and Rocco literally just drank the last two.
I'm so sorry.
Joe, you did yourself no favors. You did yourself no favors with whatever the hell that comment is.
Yeah. And then, oh no, Joe.
That's what commas are for, Joe.
All right, but real fast before Jesus, Joe. Mason, let's all take a vote. Everyone, raise your hand. Mason says, "I'm debating switching around one of my days off at work to go
Don't
to
debate.
the pasture." Raise your hand if you think it would be a good idea for Mason to do
Go
it.
for me, Mason. I'm not going to be able to make it because I'm working. So go for me.
Go for
Take my
Kevin.
spot.
Unanimous.
Go for Kevin. Boom. So it looks like you found out what you want to do, Mason. So appreciate that. So Jason, any yeah. Joe.
Oh, Joe.
Tough wording, Joe. Just tough wording. Okay. But Jason, before how any thoughts? There is something at 771 beforehand again, correct?
Yep. So from 4 to 6, we're all going to be there. They allegedly have a hydration station that we might be able to use. Question mark.
Ooh.
So be on the lookout for that.
Kevin.
Yeah, couple.
There we go. Thank you.
Kevin's dead today. I don't know why he's there.
Kevin's not
No.
a real human right now.
Kevin's out of it right now.
Kevin
It's
told
okay.
me last night, he was like, I'm going to try to get to bed before like 4 or 5 a.m.
Sundays are my busiest days of the week because I have to record Ravens. I also host the NFL show on Mondays, so I have to, produce. I have to edit and produce 2 shows.
Okay,
not just one.
so follow-up question, Kevin. Why are you here?
Because you got to grind it out, man.
Because it's
You
just
got,
what
I'm a
he does.
grinder. I got to grind it out.
Listen, if someone on this show is not going to make it to next week, it's got to be Rocco, not you. So you got to get your sleep, buddy.
I'm
And
trying. I went to bed at 4 a.m. last
Dude, you
night?
know you can do this virtually, right? You can just like sit
In
your-
studio is so much better though.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not for you,
because
Kevin, you could have popped. Go ahead.
Rocco, you are
Then
the
I
only
can do
one.
this.
No. Oh, that actually looked kind of cool. I timed that. Throw it back.
Hold on.
Let's see if-
I actually want to try one.
Am I
They've been sitting
fat
there for a
enough to know
while.
those are the
You
Dunkin'
can open
ones?
Yeah, but if I throw them now,
Are
it's
they?
gonna-
Wait, are those
So
the
you
Dunkin'?
just don't throw it back. Just
Wait.
try one.
I'm gonna throw it.
I
Are
was saying, am I
those
fat enough to recognize those are the Dunkin' ones?
Are those the Dunkin' ones? Rocco.
Hold on. Yeah, they're Dunkin'
They're
pumpkin
pumpkin
spice.
spice. My mom is.
I'm trying to open it without like opening it fully, so I don't. Oh my god, dude!
Are they good?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw them back,
All right.
but hopefully they don't.
But
Ready?
it's oh god.
It's gonna. Yeah. All right, Zach, ready?
Oh,
Beautiful.
little Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh yeah.
Fat O's fan, to answer your question, Rocco is potentially going, but yeah, I will definitely be there. No shot, Ryan.
I'm gonna
is in
definitely
town
try
by
to
then.
get over there. It's
He's
schedule pending.
gonna definitely try to potentially make up his
Right.
mind of
I've
potentially
been-
showing up.
I've been told that so many times in my life and let down every single one. So
Yeah.
I don't have any cow garb, so is it okay if I just wear like a black T-shirt or something, Jason? Is that okay?
you can wear whatever you want as long
All
as
I don't want
long
to be
as
like
you're-
called out.
wear a black shirt and a white
Listen.
hat, or a white hat and a black shirt.
I'm just gonna wear a black hat and a black shirt. How about that, Kevin?
Okay.
Well, then you're not. Can you do a moo on mic right now?
Moo?
No,
Better
come on,
than
come on,
that.
get into it.
Like a good one?
Like a moo.
Like a
Yeah, there you go.
like that?
There you go.
Is that good?
That
Yeah.
was good.
That was actually better than I thought.
That's
it was.
decent, right? Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
That was like that wasn't a moo. That was like an actual cow noise.
All right, cool.
That was
Yeah.
impressive. Good. Awesome. So yeah, if you tomorrow you got nothing, if you want to go to the game and you want to be a part of something pretty cool, go buy your tickets today before they end for the pasture tomorrow. It's gonna be a great game between the Braves and Orioles. Do we know who's pitching yet?
I was going to say I wanted to bring this up to keep the vibes high.
Okay.
They've announced Max Fried, who's a lefty.
Okay.
That doesn't worry me because they've been running him out there no matter who's pitching. But one, Max Fried is a baller. He's kind of been hurt, so they could get to him. But two, just because people have been tagging me in some tweets about it, just because he's a lefty, I'm not worried. We're going to go have a good time anyway. So
also,
it'll be fun.
Hayes is still dealing with something, so I don't even know if he's available.
Jason, if this thing pops off, is there a chance that you guys bring it back in the future, or is this just going to be a one-time deal for the season, or do you have any plans going forward with it?
Oh,
exactly. Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
That's all I'll say.
Okay. All right.
Oh, so be on the lookout.
I think this is great. I grew up watching and Joe's going to be like, oh, you made it about me. But I'm serious. Like when you look at baseball stadiums and you see the fan bases getting involved, like this one is. I remember going to Phillies games at the Vet when I was younger, and they had like the Wolf Pack for Randy Wolf. They had Padilla's Flotilla for Vicente Padilla, Silva. Like that is what this ballpark could turn into with the amount of players and puns we have and whatnot. And Jason, you're shout out to you, man. I know we bust each other's chops, but like the fact that you guys are doing this is really cool, and it's definitely like special to the players for a guy to run out there and see this fan base supporting him, just like unwavering support right there. Everyone dressed up as funny as it is, as like simple as it is, with like the moo and the Cowser and whatnot. It's really something special. And I think this fan base can continue to build off that going down the line as the season goes on and like for years and years to come, because it's really cool to see, man.
Yeah. Things like these don't just come out of thin air. I mean, it takes a while. So I know, everybody who was involved with putting this together, you obviously, heading it up with, multiple other people, Jason, but it's been really cool to see how it comes together. And maybe this is the start of just having other player sections too, right? Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen something like this. I mean, obviously you get like the upper deck Orioles, whatever it's been with their sections, but this is a whole new idea on it. So I think it's really cool that this is going on. Yeah, I wish I could be there, but
be there, unlike Kevin, be a part of something special and join the crowd, because they're a great bunch of people.
I've said this from, which by the way, thank you, Rocco. That might be the nicest thing you've ever said to me. So
shut your mouth before I kick you off this stream. Wow. Don't be nice to me.
Okay. Wow. I just want anymore. Joe, you know what to do for me in the comments. But no, it's one of those things where I've said from the beginning, it's never, it's never been about like a person or who's doing it or what, but also even though like people know me as the Cowser guy, and this is the first one. When the pinky goes up, that's because just because I'm the Cowser guy doesn't mean Cowser's the only player who either A, deserves one of these, or B, is going to get one of these, because these are 26 guys that roll out there every day, and this fan base loves them. And again, if I can just be a vessel and a mouthpiece for these things to get the ball rolling, and other people want to take it over, or whatever comes out of it, that's all this is about. So it's going to be a good time tomorrow.
Could we get a preview of maybe someone you could potentially have in the works next? Could we see like a for Gunnar Henderson, like a people dressed up as Top Gun, like Top Gun?
No. For Gunnar, you got to do the gun show and have everybody come in those suits. No, those like muscle suits.
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
Jason's I feel like you have a list.
I have a note in my phone with about 12 of them. Mm-hmm.
There we go.
So be on the lookout.
This man is working diligently. Yeah. He's going off right now. I love it.
So be on the lookout for that, and make sure to follow Jason. You see his Twitter right there. Make sure to go follow him on X, on Twitter. to stay updated for all this stuff and see when the next one will be happening. Jason, always a pleasure when you join the show, and we will see you tomorrow. Any last words before you get you out of here?
Yep. One last thing to say. Again, for everyone who has participated, is showing up tomorrow, just going to be at the pregame, sitting somewhere else during the game, whatever it is. God, appreciate that. Just again, for everyone involved, I'm just going to power through because that's what I do. Appreciate everyone involved in this. Again, this was never about me or trying to get it started. Like, this is just about bringing people together who love Orioles baseball. And I will end with this. Happy 18th birthday to the best Pixar movie of all time, Cars. That's not up for debate. I'm sorry. We've been over this. It's over. Happy birthday, Cars.
Right. Absolutely love it. Jason Bennett, everyone, make sure to go get your passenger tickets today. Thanks, and he will see you tomorrow. Jason, pleasure as always.
Appreciate you. Track, but I respect your
opinion. Awesome. See you tomorrow, Jason. What a time. Yeah, but seriously, if you're considering going to the pasture, make sure you go get your tickets. That's going to be a hell of a time. And speaking of hell of a time, we had ourselves a hell of a time at Charlestown Casino, Hollywood Casino in Charlestown Races, and you can too. They are running a promotion where if you have your pen play card in West Virginia, not Maryland, not Virginia, not anywhere else, in West Virginia up there, you can get complimentary beverages. Complimentary, Rocco's favorite word. That's how you use it in a sentence, Rocco. But that's
this guy said on Twitter, he said, fact or crap, Kevin is the kid in the Papa John's commercials with Gunner.
Okay.
You enjoying laughing by yourself over
we
there?
We have a sponsorship ad to do right now, Rocco.
I'm sorry.
One second. Complimentary drinks using your pen play card. It's only about an hour 15 from here. We were out in Owings Mills at the Ravens facility when we left, and it only took us about an hour to get up there. So not far at all. We'll be doing more live shows up there, but hey, you're going up there. Pen play card, get complimentary beverages, a great time, and we will be up there soon. So let's move on to kind of our final topic of the day. Some Baltimore Orioles. Man, my head is everywhere. Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, good.
God, you mean take over hosting?
Kevin, you would fall asleep up here, I think.
Well, when I lock in, and I'm locked in right now, like me talking to you.
Yeah, we are so locked in. So actually, and I'm blurry. This is a great time for you to be locked in, Kevin, because we need you actually to be locked on Ravens. We're talking Ravens OTAs. It's media day today. Potentially, maybe we see some things drop. Yes, and good. Hey, way to remind me. King goes gambling problem. 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'll shut up throughout it all if you want to do it so we can clip it again, because I did bring up the fact that Kevin does look like the Papa
we're going to make you clip it and take out your.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. Yes. Let's just do it again. Do it again, Zach. Do the read again.
Scene.
Speaking of a good time, we had a great time up at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races, and you can too. If you go up there and use your pen play card in West Virginia, you can get complimentary beverages. We did a live show up there close to a month ago now, and we'll be up there soon, but would love to see guys up there. It is a great time. Got some horse races up there. We're going to try to get up there on a weekend next time so we can truly see it all. And yes, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Yeah. Rocco, is that better?
That was unbelievable.
Great
job, Zach. Well done. Shout out to Hollywood.
Kevin Clapp.
It's a great time up there. We definitely got to get back up there soon.
Yeah, I remember we're gonna make it a big thing this time. Where I know that the live show was awesome, but since we had the Eric DeCosta interview that day, we didn't really do a great job of saying like, "Hey, we're actually gonna be there," until we were actually there. Yeah. So next time we're gonna make it. So if you want to come up whenever our next live show will be, we'll make it a huge time. You can watch Rocco lose all his money.
You know what was sick? Where they had us set up though.
Yeah.
In the sports book, the sports book area was dope. What's funny now?
Rocco, when ADD was, we literally had to tell the people we were working with, we're like, hey, can we have just most of the TVs right here be the Oriole game? And we allowed Rocco one basketball game because we knew if he had multiple sports going on,
That's absolutely not what happened.
Yes,
I was
it
the
is.
one who asked for the O's on all 4 TVs, and you were the one who said NBA game would be great to have on one
Yes,
TV.
and then we decided that we couldn't do different games on each channel because you would get distracted.
Well, that's not false at all. You're right. Yeah.
All right. So back to the Ravens. OTAs wrapping. Are they wrapping up? Where are we?
OTAs are
they're
done.
Yeah, I was
done.
gonna
They're
say.
done.
I was gonna say at this point they're done. OTAs are finished with, and a lot of, there's all the Lamar Jackson talk, all of that, and it just gets in the way of what's actually happening on the field. So Kevin is going to go over, as someone who covers the Ravens every single day. Some say he's locked on them. Kevin, who were some winners that we saw, in your opinion, during OTAs?
Yeah, there were a couple of them. I think Malik Cunningham actually kind of stole the show a little bit.
Wide receiver, Malik
Yeah.
Cunningham.
Wide. What?
The
You
if
are
there's-
you are
if there's-
on one
No,
today.
if there's breaking news, you guys continue to talk, and I was trying to get Zach's
Well,
attention for
here's
the next thing.
Rocco. If I'm gonna do an interpretation of what Rocco just did, Zach.
Thank. Oh. Woo.
Yeah. Okay. Do we like to talk
Yes,
about
okay,
it?
Dan.
It's my segment getting cut off for the second straight time.
We're going to get right back to you.
That's
We're going to get right back
You're
to you, but
supposed to
this
be
is big.
locked in Ravens and just lock in and keep it locked and talk about the Ravens while I like wave my arms up in the air to Zach and say, "Hey, I'm about to send you something, buddy." I can't say it on the mic and
Yeah.
interrupt you.
So, for those wondering what we're talking about, Dan Hurley has turned down the LA Lakers offer. He will return to Connecticut in pursuit of his third straight title.
And according to Woj, it was a 6-year, $70 million offer.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
How much is he getting paid now? The Yukon?
Well, I can tell you it's about to go up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You know what? I think for me and for you guys, I don't know, but I love it. I love that because you've seen guys go to the NBA, take a chance, follow the money, and certain guys have succeeded. It seems like very few have succeeded, while other guys, these successful college coaches, they take the leap, whether it's college football, college basketball, and they go to the pros, and it's just a whole different world, man. You're dealing with high-paid athletes, and I know NIL is a thing now, but it is a different world in the NBA. It really is. It's like, truly, man. What?
I was on the screen for that entire monologue.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
I was reading through something, and so
All
Thanks for that.
But anyway, yeah. You guys want to share your thoughts and move on to Ravens?
yeah, this was the right move. He should never
Absolutely.
went to the NBA. We talked about this, Kevin, actually pretty in depth, but I didn't see that making any sense. One, I don't think he could have been successful with that Lakers team. I don't think it would have been fun. I think he would have been in and out in 3 years. And I don't
3
think
months.
I don't think with the way that Hurley coaches, with his mentality, we do everything this specific way and just the intensity, I don't think it resonates with these players that are getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars the same way it does 18-year-olds trying to get to that next spot.
Yeah. Can you just imagine that if apparently Hurley was the Lakers' big option here after all the JJ Redick smoke, them crawling back to JJ and saying, "Hey, remember when we really wanted you to be the guy, and then we kind of did this?
Yeah.
You wanna hop back on that train with us?"
It's gonna be interesting.
Regardless of what they do, the Lakers need to make this move, this coaching move, for the future of their franchise and not for the future of LeBron James. And I hope that's what they're doing, because LeBron could very well be gone. What, after this year?
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about young core, and you look
Yeah.
at that Lakers roster, they mentioned Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura in that young core. Both those guys are 26 going on 27. That's not a young core.
Yeah.
Like,
Young core is like what? I don't know. Could you even say Minnesota? Minnesota's got
Minnesota has a young core.
they have
Anthony Edwards is like 22 or 23.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying, but then I was thinking besides that, obviously, like
McDaniels.
yeah, all right, no, yeah, I was
they got,
thinking. Well, I'm just thinking because Cat, I would
Reed.
consider.
Cat is not young,
Yeah.
but
So all right, yeah, continue.
You want to move on and let Kevin talk about Ravens?
Yeah, so let's move on back. Let's go to some Baltimore Ravens again, and OTA is officially over. We got some winners and losers. Kevin, we talked about. Start off with Malik Cunningham, wide receiver. Malik Cunningham.
yeah, no,
So-
so let's get into Ravens now. Malik Cunningham is one of the winners of OTAs. Minicamp is starting up tomorrow. Media days today. OTAs wrapped up last week. But Malik Cunningham, someone who apparently impressed a lot during these practices. Baltimore's wide receiver group is kind of like, guys, for me, I'm like I think 6 is the perfect number of wide receivers. I think 5 is just like a little too little. And then you got like 7, which is just a little too many, especially like in this Ravens offense. I don't see them keeping 7 wide receivers. Like I don't see it.
Yeah.
But Cunningham is maybe one of those dark horse candidates. If I had to take a receiver off that roster right now, I'm a big Tylan Wallace guy, but I'm not sure if his spot is safe considering Flowers, Bateman, Aguilar. They brought in Harder to be the returner. They drafted Tez Walker. That's 5. So if Cunningham were to beat out any other receiver on that roster, probably would be Tylan Wallace. So Cunningham apparently making these toe tap catches and actually getting some leadership. Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman both have stepped up. I think Greg Lewis talked about it, who's Baltimore's wide receiver coach, about how Zay and Bateman are taking over bigger leadership roles. Zay has been very vocal about how Odell taught him so much about both on and off the field, being a leader, how to go about his business as a rookie. And he is now, there's videos of him coaching up these undrafted rookie free agents. Like Malik Cunningham is being the beneficiary of that and making some really big strides in his game, which sometimes those transitions can take like years from quarterback to wide receiver, different position. It already seems like he's getting out there and doing his thing. But I think the star of OTAs, or at least one of them, was Tez Walker, who I think is going to play a pretty big role for the Ravens this year. Now, what is that role going to be? I don't know, but you can use him as your deep threat. And Zach, I know we talked about this, taking some of the deep pressure off of Rashad Bateman and even maybe Zay Flowers. They need a jump ball receiver. Tez Walker is about as close as that in that wide receiver room. I mean, if you want to throw Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely in that conversation, it's a little bit of a different story. But Tez Walker's a guy who impressed going up against TJ Tampa, their 4th-round corner, who also impressed. Both those guys had a little friendly competition going on. Tez won his reps, TJ won his reps, and that's what you want. You win some, you lose some. Other than that, though, on the defensive side of the ball, we heard a lot in that secondary also. Apparently, our Darius Washington might be taking a hold of that 3rd safety spot right now, which I think would love incredible. I was a huge Darius Washington guy coming out of TCU. Thought he was going to be a 3rd-round pick. He goes undrafted. But then you also have guys like Pepe Williams and Jalen Armour-Davis stepping up, which how big would that be for the Ravens if you could get anything out of those two guys? Really haven't been able to stay on the field.
I mean, they've been afterthoughts throughout when people talk about the corners.
It reminds me a lot of how people were talking about Brandon Stevens last year. It was okay. This is year 3 for them now, and it's what are you going to do? Are you going to step up? Are you going to give us a reason that we think you should be a long-term part of this defense? And we saw Brandon Stevens make that massive leap last year. So we'll see if one of them can do the same. Yeah, it's true. And then other than that, Charlie Kohler had a nice play to end OTAs on Thursday. At least that was the last one open to the media, a little one-hand snag, I believe it was. And that'll be good. So the Ravens have a bunch of guys. They're going to have to rely on a bunch of young guys to step up. A couple of guys who were quote-unquote fallers. Apparently, Daniel Falele did not have a strong end to the week. In OTAs, he was looking gassed and exhausted, and that obviously kind of rubbed off on his play. Yeah, and had to be taken onto the sideline by the trainer a couple of times. So I think everybody's kind of convinced Roger Rosengarten's winning that starting right tackle spot anyway. But of course, it's a competition until it's not. So he's still going to be involved. And look, you can only take away so much from non-padded practices, particularly OTAs. Like, I'm not sitting here and saying, oh, look, these guys performed well. They're going to be studs for the Ravens this year. This guy didn't perform well. He's not going to be a factor. The takeaways come when the pads come on. Like, that's when it is. But other guys, Adisa Isaac, their 3rd-round pick, wasn't able to practice due to his injury, suffered in rookie minicamp. Same thing with Bo Braid, the undrafted Maryland safety. The thing I'm monitoring, guys, though, is the Marlon Humphrey situation. Yeah. What is going on with Marlon right now? Was injured for a lot of the year last year. Clearly was not healthy in that AFC Championship game. And John Harbaugh said maybe he'll be a full go at minicamp, kind of vague in terms of what his status is. So probably going to get a lot of answers this week in terms of how back Marlon is, or if he still needs a little more time. Yeah, and that's kind of, we talked about that last episode where Harbaugh kind of came out of nowhere and was like, oh, yeah, and an update on Marlon Humphrey. And people were like, update on what? Yeah. Like, I thought he was healthy. So that's definitely something you have to keep an eye on. But I like how you put that. You can't really get takeaways until the pads come on. Like these non-padded practice, no helmets even for some of them. Like it's only going to show you so much. The quicker, more agile guys, I feel like, always succeed. They talked about Tez Walker versus TJ Tampa. Tez Walker made a few really nice grabs against TJ, but you have to understand TJ Tampa is a big press corner. That is his bread and butter. And in these non-padded practices, you can't press really the same way as you would in a game. They don't allow you to get as physical, so that hurts him in those aspects as well. But for OTAs, you love seeing the young guys stepping up. I think that's the biggest takeaway, is that some of these guys look like they do belong, even though the pads aren't on. Rocco, you have anything kind of before we get out of here on the Ravens?
I'm just looking forward to mandatory minicamp, because that's when some of the real fun begins. Obviously, training camp is what everyone's looking forward to, but the fact that this is mandatory, you get 3 days to do this. The big names are going to be here. Everyone's going to be here. You're going to get to kind of see what this team is going to look like and what it's going to shape out to be. Obviously, before we get to see the Ravens again in late July. So this is really the last time, media-wise or, people-wise, fan-wise, you're going to get to see the Ravens until that point in time. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to this week. And, hopefully we get some good action out there in Owings Mills. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it should be a good year. Like we've said, you can't put too much water in, OTAs. It's just not. It's not what you're going to get your most full look at. And it's especially with these non-padded practices. It's fun. It's great to see guys out there. That's what I feel like OTAs kind of is like, oh, Derrick Henry's out there. Like, that's cool. He's in a Ravens uniform. But you don't get Derrick Henry looks great. This means that Derrick Henry's going to go for, 1,500 yards this year. You don't see that kind of stuff in OTAs, but you just got to win. Like, I'm still at that point with the Ravens where I'm still hurt. I am. As much as I hate to admit it, I am. So I'm finally warming back up to like, okay, football season, it's a new year, fresh start. We're starting to get there, and it's just exciting times in Baltimore's for both pieces. So let's get out of here. We've been on here long enough, just over 2 hours. So any last thoughts, guys? Final things you want to get off your chest? Anything? Rocco, Kevin?
Great seeing you guys.
Yeah, I've not seen you.
Nice of you to make your monthly studio appearance.
And you know what, buddy? Why don't you go back and take a little nappy poo and be happy the rest of the day?
I actually can't nap.
Yeah.
To the point where like sometimes I get so exhausted I just kind of like I have to, but I wake up from naps like groggy. Like, it doesn't feel good.
How long are your naps?
Anywhere from an hour to 4 hours.
Well, that's like a sleep, Kevin. That's 4 hours is not a nap.
Yeah,
that is a
you did not know my sleep
buddy.
schedule before. My sleep schedule used to be 12 p.m. to 7 p.m.
A nap, evidently the perfect nap, which is insane to think about. And I could be wrong. Someone fact check me on this, but this is just what I've heard.
Under 40 minutes.
It's like, 30 to 40 minutes is like the perfect nap.
The power naps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then your body feels great and refreshed.
Yeah. If you go, it is one of those things where I think it's like, it has to be less than 40 minutes or over like 3 or 4 hours. Like anything in between, you're not going to wake up feeling right. So,
well,
the more you know, Kevin.
How about that? Well, yeah, everybody enjoy the pasture tomorrow. I wish I could be there, but again, I work quite literally all the time.
Yeah.
So
Kevin is a busy bee.
Cannot be there, but it should be a great time. Jason came on and talked a lot about it, and I'm excited to see how it all turns out tomorrow. So maybe I'll FaceTime in. I'll FaceTime in with Zach, and that's how I'll show up tomorrow.
There you go.
Boom. Absolutely love it. Yeah. So that will do it for this edition of the Ryan Ripken Show. We ready to cue the music, boys?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do it up.
All right. That'll do it for this edition of the Ryan Ripken Show. Have a day, have a night, and we will see you on Thursday and after the game tonight. So we'll see you. Have a day, have a night. Going around one last time.